right, so as we enter Final Four weekend, we wanted to take a look back at how March Madness started this year. And on Turner Sports, it started with this unbelievable Rube Goldberg machine, a chain reaction puzzle that took viewers on a riveting hoops journey. And that broadcast open was created by Charlotte resident Sam Grubbs. And I talked to him for this weekend's edition of WCNC Charlotte's Off the Clock podcast. Before we get started, make sure you keep it with us for your Final Four coverage, especially the Gamecock women who play Friday night against Stanford. And be sure to follow or subscribe however you're watching or listening. Samuel, it seems like your videos get crazier and crazier. I think this is the craziest one, but how crazy was it to get a call from Turner Sports? Was that something that was even on your radar? And how long did they give you before you had to make the open for the entire NCAA tournament?
So yeah, shout out to Turner Sports crew over there and people from Bleacher Report, because my old manager from Bleacher Report, Sam Gilbert, made a call, was on a call with some people from Turner Sports, Craig Murray and Drew Watkins, about, hey, we're trying to create the kickoff video for March Madness. And Sam Gilbert, my old manager, was hyping me up, and they gave me a call, which no idea that they were going to be calling me, right? There was, like you were just asking, there's nothing on my radar that they're going to contact me. They contact me and say, hey, we're looking for a piece for March Madness. Let me mind you, this was in January, right? Mm-hmm. So this was like, boom, right? Like I have a very, very tight window, and then we have to secure a location. So the turnaround time was narrowing more and more and more. And we ended up having three weeks in the warehouse. Before we get into how it all came together, like, and how you even got some of these ideas, I mean, I'm watching the video and there's crossbows, there's like tubes of water, there's barrels. I mean, there's so much more than that. How did you even get all that stuff? So some of it was ordered through Amazon Prime, but some of it was just Facebook Marketplace. Like, hey, we're going to look up 55-gallon barrel drums, because you're not ordering that off of Facebook Marketplace, right? So we just hit up some people in the area like, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have that? A lot of it was ordered by Sarah Manili on Turner Sports side through Amazon Prime. And so we were just getting stuff. And as it was coming in, we were just throwing it in the mix. And as we would build the machine, we'd be like, oh, we need a couple more crossbows. Oh, we need more golf balls. Oh, we need more mouse traps. We ordered like hundreds and hundreds of mouse traps. So yeah. As best you can, you know, this is the podcast version. How does it start? Where does it go? And how does it finish? I mean, I know it's a 3-minute video and it's hard to sum that up, but like, what are we talking about here with this Rube Goldberg machine? So it starts about 20 feet elevated, about, I think it was 18, 20 feet high up in the air. You got a 12-foot by 8-foot plywood board with a whole bracket on it. You've got swivels, like levers that are holding golf balls. They all drop. And then you just kind of go through this 16,000 square foot warehouse, just basically capturing different elements that could tie in with March Madness, with basketball umbrellas. You've got announcers, fat heads of announcers on oil drums rolling down this Donkey Kong setup. You've got a home theater that was like 12 feet tall. We ordered a projector that was like, we rented one that was like, I think it was like $25,000 projector that we had rented nice. Somebody
with the old footage on it.
Yeah, with the old footage of all the historical moments of March Madness on it. And then you end with, you know, the cutting down the net, of course.
Did Turner specifically want the Rube Goldberg, or was that like, okay, I'm good at that. Would that work for you guys?
So we were ping-ponging ideas. I gave a couple ideas, they gave some, and we just kept firing off ideas back and forth. And we kind of just like stumbled upon this Rube Goldberg idea. And then once we got there, I started hitting them with elements that I thought would be really good to be in the piece. And they were pretty lenient with freedom, which was fantastic. They were just like, hey, you know, run wild with it. And they were like, we just want everything to tie into March Madness, of course. And they had a couple elements that they wanted in there, you know. But yeah.
What was the hardest thing to get? Like just acquire, not have work, but like actually get your hands on.
you're talking about the hardest item to get a hold of?
Yeah.
I think it was the oil drums, to be honest, because we had tried to get that for several days. We had contacted multiple people on Facebook Marketplace. Like I said, you're not just ordering these drums.
Hey, at some point you might get suspicious. I'm not gonna lie. You're like fishing for oil drums.
Yeah, I know. So what's hilarious? Here's a hilarious story. The guy we bought it from, he messaged us back and said, "Hey, I am a U.S. Navy veteran, and I will be bringing these to you." He's like, "If you're doing anything sketchy, I will know, and I will get to the bottom of it." So the guy was like really funny about selling these barrels to us.
Does he know what they were for?
Yeah, he actually delivered. Shout out to the guy. He delivered them to us, and then we showed him the inside of the warehouse, and like he wouldn't even walk in there. He was looking in there. He's just like, "Okay, they're not doing anything too suspicious." And he's like, "I gotta get going, guys. I can't hang out here too long."
What kind of just hours and labor and like how many people were involved just on site at that warehouse?
Oh man, so on average, we had probably 6 people, actually a little more than 6, probably like 6 to 8 people every day. And you're talking 14 to 15 hours a day. The main crew was me, my wife, Allison Grubbs, Jesse Connor, Daniel Hart, Zach Gibson, Andy Townsend, Andrew Rayner. And then like we had a couple others that were kind of, in and out throughout the mix. But it was literally averaging, I'm not exaggerating, 14 to 15 hour days. We would take Sundays off. And then it was 6 days a week. I mean, we were putting in, there was 3 days in a row that were almost 3 back-to-back all-nighters towards the end.
I know from your NBA on NBC theme song, the minutia of moving the pot like this angle, a millimeter over here. Like give me a little bit of that kind of just minutia behind the scenes that nobody would guess when they watched it, that just you guys were like really hung up on and then you got through it.
Yeah, so for example, Donkey Kong, we played with that over and over and over. That was literally, I think it was about day 6 maybe we had started messing with Donkey Kong, but where the barrels would roll down and hit each other. That we didn't stop working on that until like the day of. So like
day that you did it,
tweaking. We'd like tweak some angles of the boards and like, hey, this is going too fast. Okay, we need to slow it down somehow. And then like another thing we worked on a while was the stop motion piece. Like that took me. It was such a small piece where like the pictures would come up, but I worked on that for probably like 3 days because I mean I was on and off with other projects, but there's just like, you wouldn't think that, okay, the dominoes have to hit a certain way because it might not be enough weight. Or if it's not enough weight, then like the speed of the ball is too fast. So the pictures will come up too fast or it'll be too slow. There was so much tweaking, hours and hours on just small little transitions to make it fine tuned.
Do you test it in pieces? Like, do you test like different segments of it before you try to roll it all at once?
Yes, absolutely. So we would, once we'd figure out a section, we'd figure out the transition point is what we call it. And once you get that transition point, you would just test that over and over, right? Just to make sure it's consistent.
Make sure one thing is going to lead to the next thing.
Yes, because I mean, think about it. If it's like 25% chance that it's actually going to transition, then you gotta get rid of it because then you're going to be there for years trying to film this thing.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't consistent, it would get eliminated. And if it was pretty consistent, we would tweak things to make it more consistent to make sure it would flow.
And this is all like from the golf balls dropping to the end of it. That's all one continuous. That's actually how it went down.
Funny story about that. Yes, it is.
Yep.
But that is the one and only time it worked all the way through.
Yeah. How many times did you take it?
Oh, we filmed. I was counting. I wasn't even counting, man. It was over and over and over. We did tries and tries. It took 2 days of shooting to get it to work. And like I said, that was what's crazy is Craig Murray, the guy who was directing the whole thing, the guy who hired me. He said, "Sam, this is our last chance because it's end of day. We're running out of time. I got to get a piece." And he's like, "This